crafting friends, Jessica here with Tiny Worlds of Wonder, stopping in to share part 3 of my African Swallowtail tutorial. Now, I wasn't sure I was going to make a part 3 after part 2, but I decided that my butterfly wing does not quite look finished to me. And so I was going to do a little more work on it, a little more tweaking, and I thought I might stop in and show you guys how I put the finishing touches on this little section of this page. Now, this is in the fabulous book, Colors of the Jungle from Colorit. I am an affiliate for Colorit, so if you love this book, check the affiliate link in the description below. When you use that link, I do earn a small commission. Never any obligation, but if you choose to do that, thank you very, very much. It's always appreciated. For today's tutorial, you're going to need your Inktense pencils, along with any other harder leaded, non-water soluble pencils you might have. I am going to be using some Sanford Verethin pencils. I might also bring in some Prismacolors. I have the 132 set, but we'll see as we roll along exactly what mood strikes us. Of course, if you're working with Inktense, you'll also need some water brushes. I will link in the description below the details of everything I'm using. I'll also talk you through it. So I'm also a Blick affiliate. Blick Art Supplies is my very favorite spot to obtain said coloring media. So I'll put my affiliate link there in the description below. Again, I earn a small commission when you use it. But hopefully some of those things make this easy and convenient for you to color along with me. One other thing you'll need is your reference photo. I'm using a beautiful photo from Sara Folts, the Butterfly Babe, which I'll also link in the description below because it really is the perfect reference photo for this image that we're working on. So what I decided I wanted to do after I was kind of finished with my Derwent step, I haven't done anything to this page beyond where we left off last time. I'll make sure both previous parts are linked up in the cards so that you can find them. I just decided we needed a little more detail on this page because these butterfly wings have some beautiful veining on them. I'm going to come back in with a stiffer lead and I'm just going to add some little bits and bobs. So the first thing I want to do as I look at my reference picture is add some terracotta 745.5 Verethin pencil in some quick strokes to kind of this area on the inside of my butterfly wing. Now the reason I'm going to use some stiffer bodied pencil is because I actually want some of my lines to be visible. Now for better or worse, with my Inktense pencils, I have taken a lot of the tooth out of this paper. And so we'll see how much veining I can actually achieve with my pencils here. But I'm going to use just some light strokes to create some veins here in my wings. You do want to make sure before you do this step that you've done all of your activating with water already. Okay, I'm going to go into some of these other areas and kind of do the same thing. I'm just going to follow the way these wings appear in my reference photo. I have unfortunately lost a lot of the tooth of my paper. This step can really add some nice detail, especially to animal pictures where you have fur or scales or feathers or some other texture like that. My cat found a sunny window next to me and now he's decided it is licking time. So that just seemed to darken up some of those areas a bit. I might actually do a little experimenting with my Prismacolors because those are a little waxier. Might actually show up a little bit more. I might go with almost a gray, maybe a warm gray. Whenever I do something crazy color-wise, I just want to take my sample there and and try it out first. That's a little too dark. Let's try some sienna brown instead. Oh yes, I can get some much better line work with the Prismacolors. It's always an experiment, depending on the kind of paper you're using. I might also try a little Tuscan red. Just want to see what color is going to give me closest thing to what I'm actually seeing in my drawing here. Burnt Ochre. Burnt Ochre is the one. Sometimes you just gotta experiment until you find the one. So I'm gonna make sure my pencil is nice and sharp here, because these are gonna be visible lines. I'm gonna do kind of like a flicking motion almost. So I press a little harder at the start and then kind of flick my hand away. I think I've just laid the tooth down on that area too much for that to really be very visible. But we'll try. We'll try a little and see how it goes. We can maybe at least get a few vein lines going here. And I try to make those rather close together at the bottom edge and kind of space them out a bit as we go. And be really careful on those more yellow areas. All right, then I'm going to come in, I think, the tiny bit of warm gray. I'm not going to go to like my 90%. I might just experiment with like a 70%, something like that. I'm going to get that really nice and sharp. I'm going to see if I can add any more depth to this down here. I think I've just about run out of tooth, like I said, down at the base of the orange section here. I layered that with color 3 different times. So that's quite a bit for a coloring book page. Like I said in one of my earlier tutorials, normally I would definitely work on both sides at once. Because there's no way I'm going to be able to remember my identical procedure on both sides. Unless I rewatch my video, I guess. So I've made it a little harder for myself here, but that is okay. So I'm going to do the same thing. Add a little bit of veining just on one edge of this area of the wing. Just to give this a slightly less watercolored look. I do like the watercolor look. I think this will give a little more realism to the picture. All right. Reference my reference. Make sure I like what I see. Okay, I actually want to add some a little further out here too, but I don't want to go crazy with it. Okay, yes, 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 I like that quite a bit. Now, one thing I want to do to this page is just go into my black areas and blend out some of the black just a tiny bit better. I do find that Inktense black is really difficult to get even. I'm just going to use the same gray. This is going to leave a bit of a glossier finish on my paper. So if having differing textures bothers you, this might not be the solution for you. I come in some of these spots and just blend. So I'm going to use a really light hand because I want to make sure I'm making my color more uniform and not less uniform as I go through some of this, but I also don't want to take away any of the details that I already like. That's kind of a danger sometimes. Then I'll come back in with my true black. And I'm going to be a little more picky about my line work this time, and making sure everything is really solid and clean. If you hear background noise, I apologize. Like always, my whole family is home. And my cat. My cat is also home. So I'm just going to keep darkening up these areas that aren't quite as black as I want. Until they are as black as I want. Paper up here actually has some tooth left because I didn't go over it quite as many times. All right, I want an even lighter warm gray now. Let's try out that one. Just going to use this to smooth out some of the areas that I left a little lighter. Now this is lighter than some of my lines, so I'm going to try to avoid going over my black lines with this pencil. So that does just kind of smudge them a bit, make them a little less clear. The advantage to doing this as opposed to a full page in Prismacolor is that it's 800 times faster. And I really do like the bold, vivid color that I can get with my Inktense. And then that Prismacolor, even though it has a slightly shinier texture, really can add some finishing detail to my page. And it can serve to just smooth everything out a little bit. Okay. Last thing I think I'm going to do is come in with some black. I'm just going to make sure I like those dark lines that I'm seeing on the tip of my wing there, where all the different segments of the wing kind of come together. Those do have a nice defined black. to them. So I'm just going to darken those a little bit with my Prismacolor pencil. I did shade them a little with the Inktense, but this is really going to just define them even more. You'll find, I think, that the more you look at your reference photo, the more things you notice about it. That's kind of the beauty of coloring a page like this, because you get to really experience nature. And in my opinion, there isn't anything more relaxing than that. I think a lot of times we don't get to spend enough time with nature most of the time. I just go back in some of those black lines and just blend any kind of areas that I think need it just a touch. I don't have an endless number of times I can do this with the tooth of my paper, but I get away with a little bit. Nobody says that you have to color an entire page with just one kind of pencil, right? And something like this, it's a lot of fun to do a little mixing and matching, as long as I always do my water step first, because the Prismacolor is going to resist water. It's a wax pencil, so I will not be able to come back in and add water. That, to my eye, looks pretty close to what I want. So from a distance, I don't know how much you'll be able to see, but I'll bring you in a little closer. It looks a lot smoother. There are some more vein details in that wing, and I think that has a pretty cool effect. So you guys tell me, do you ever mix and match your pencils? What's your favorite way to do it? Tell me what your favorite coloring tool is. Tell me what you're working on. I always love to hear all that stuff. I don't claim to be any kind of professional, but I do love to share my coloring journey with you here. I also love to share it with you on Instagram, so visit me over there at Tiny Worlds of Wonder. I hope you've really enjoyed this coloring series. I don't do too many of these on the channel. If it's something you'd like to see more of, let me know. It is really relaxing and fun. I hope you guys have a fantastic week. As always, spread some joy wherever you are, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.